Bonjour and welcome to French Action. If you plan to go and live in France, you may need to rent an accommodation. And this video is here to help you with this process. Vous êtes prêts? C'est parti! So, you arrived in France and the first thing you want to do is to be looking for accommodation. You would say, je cherche un logement. Logement is accommodation. So, what could you be looking for? Une chambre chez l'habitant? Une chambre chez l'habitant is basically a bedroom at someone's place where you're going to share the facilities. The owner would live in the property. And you could have une chambre en colocation. And that means that you will rent a bedroom and share all the facilities as well, but the owner will not be living on the premises. So you would have some roommates, and that may be very good for you, especially if they don't speak English. You will learn a lot of French. However, you may not want to share anything with anyone, and for this you will need to look for a studio. And a studio is one room, one living area, which can be like a bedroom, a sitting living room, a dining room, but it's one room where you would have your kitchenette and also your bathroom and toilets. So you could be renting an apartment with several rooms, but here I just would like to draw your attention to the spelling of appartement, which has two P's. Looking for an accommodation in France is not going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, trust me. So what I would suggest is first probably to contact the people you know already, those who will probably be working with you or your friends. But if that doesn't work, you may want to look at an agency, but beware that you'll have to pay some agency fees. Otherwise, you could look at online websites. Most of them are free of charge. So just look at that and see what you can find. Here is an online website called Le Bon Coin. I have to say that this is not an advert. I've just selected it to give you an example of what to expect on a website like Le Bon Coin. I do not receive any money for mentioning this site. But you will see that Le Bon Coin proposes some ads for you. So for example, if you're looking for a studio, you have two photos, and you can see, for example, on the first one, the little kitchenette I mentioned before, and on the second, you can see that it's more like a living area, probably more like a living room, but in any case, it's one big room, and that's it. And it is interesting because both of them are studios, but the price is very different. And that is because of the location. Roubaix is in the north of France, whereas Montpellier is further down south. So you'll have to expect differences in the prices based on your location. And if you're thinking of Paris, oh gosh, that's going to be worse. So when you are on Le Bon Coin, what you need to do is to create an account, and it's free of charge. And this is what you get. You find, obviously you need to say what you're looking for, and you can see where it says Rechercher sur Le Bon Coin. You click on it and you basically look at what you're looking for, if it's a studio, if it's one bedroom or two bedrooms, and so on. So that's how it works. So when you're interested in one particular ad, you need to click on it so that you get further information, because the only thing you will get is a photo, what it is, the size, and the rent. That's it. So I did this with another photo, and I'm not saying where the accommodation was, because I'm basically reusing what was there. And what you find is location à l'année. So location, you have to remember, is not location, is renting. Okay, we're talking about rent here. À l'année means during the year, for the year. And then you have a T1. What does a T1 means? The T stands for type. And you will see that next to the T, you will get a 1, a 2, or 3, or 4. And it's only a number which indicates the number of living areas. What I mean by living areas is living rooms, dining rooms, and bedrooms. So basically, you cannot say in France, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house. You can say you're looking for a 3-room house, but not a 3-bedroom house. Okay? And when we're talking about those rooms, it doesn't include the kitchen, it doesn't include the bathroom, and it doesn't include the toilets, because this is a must-have. So after that, you see the word meublé, which is an important word, especially if you're not going to stay in France very long, because meublé means furnished. So you don't want to buy furniture and then having to resell them. So it's better for you, I think, to get somewhere which is already furnished. So you're looking for the word meublé. Then if we go down a little bit, you see the cost, 550 euros, charge comprise. Now, charge comprise means included, everything is included. Okay, all the cost is included. And sometimes you're going to see TTC. What I mean by all charges included, it could be the electricity, could be the water, could even be the internet, but then you have to check with your landlord. Then you get a description of what it is. So for example, here it tells you à louer, very important, because if it's not à louer, it's for sale. So here we know it's for rent. Un appartement de type T1. So we know it's just one large room. Okay. Refait à neuf, renovated. Then it tells you about the superficie, which is the area. So 30 meters square. And then situé au cœur du village. Situated at the heart of the village. Then when you go down a little bit, you will see critères. And critères means criteria. So it's basically what you were looking for. So you were looking for an appartement with one room, meublé, furnished. And étage is means floor. So it means that your apartment will be on the ground floor. And then place de parking, you have ample parking spaces because it says 6 and more. You will find the word dossier is used a lot in this context. It's basically where you're going to put all the documents you need to provide. And yes, it's a lot of things you have to provide. Your ID, which in your case is your passport, a visa or permit to stay in France. Your proof of employment. So if you've already been employed, you have to show your payslips. Otherwise, if you haven't started the work as yet, you need to show your employment contract. If you're going to be a student in France, you might have a student card already or not, a school registration letter to show that you are going to be a student in France. They may even ask for bank statements. And if it's the case, any paper which will come from your country will have to be translated into French. And this not by a friend, but by a company, a registered company, okay, an authorized body. And that's how it will be accepted. You will find that landlords don't want to take any risks, especially with foreigners. So they will ask for a guarantor, un garant. And it's a person who is committed to covering your rent should you not be able to do so. And family members may not be your guarantors, especially because they're not French. And that's why a company was created to help people just like you. And that is garantme.fr. I'm not advertising for this company either, but it's good for you to know about it because they can help you. They will be asking for that same dossier, which you will have to provide in any case. So make sure that you put all the information in it, and then they will assess whether or not they can be your guarantor. And when that happens, you will not have any problem with your future landlord. So let's say that you have visited a place, you like it, you want it, you were able to provide all the information, then it's time to sign, but you need to know that you will have to pay une caution which will be 1 month rent plus 1 month rent paid in advance. So that's going to be 2 months. So you have to be aware of that. And the caution is supposed to be refunded when you leave the property. Don't be afraid of asking questions. Make sure that you come up with your questions before visiting the apartment or the bedroom or whatever. It's very important. Some questions I was thinking of, for example, is the deposit refundable? Est-ce que la caution est restituée? Normally it is, but you know that landlords very often are always going to try to find something to say, okay, you know, the paint is not so good, or there's a mark somewhere and so on, so that they can keep the money. So what I would say to you, take photos or even film the whole accommodation so that you have a proof of what it was before you got the keys, and then you will be able to see the difference between the before and after. And then if nothing was damaged, then you should get your money back. Now, another thing I want to say about caution is that very often, or sometimes I should say, you would see the word dépôt de garantie, which is basically the same thing. Do I need a renter's insurance? Est-ce qu'il me faut une assurance habitation? Ask the question. I think you do, but ask the question to make sure that you have your insurance. Just in case you have problems, at least you're insured. Some vocabulary for you, very important one. And buy, a tenancy agreement. Une caution, a deposit. Une colocation, flat or apartment sharing. Dépenses locatives, so it's feminine, rental expenses. Dépôt de garantie, security deposit. As I said, very often we just call it caution. But normally it's for any damage caused by you. Because you remember that you remember what I said before, if the rent is not paid, they will go straight to your guarantor. So this is mainly for any damage which you might have caused. Garant, guarantor. So if it's a woman, une garante. Une location, a rental, but in this case, we're talking about renting accommodation. Un logement, accommodation. Un loyer, a rent. Meublé, furnished. Non meublé, unfurnished. And here I'm putting a T2, which is a 2-room accommodation and not a 2-bedroom accommodation. Okay, so in a 2-room accommodation, you'll have 1 bedroom and 1 living room. Avant de signer le bail, il faut faire un état des lieux. So before signing the contract, you need to do an état des lieux, which is like an inventory. And I have already made some videos which I would advise you to watch if you're going to rent in France. And this is about your rent agreement, because your rent agreement will not be in English, it will be in French, so I'm explaining all this to you. And the next video is before signing your rent agreement in France, you need to do your état des lieux, so it tells you everything about it. So now that's it for me, and I wish you bonne chance, good luck. You found the video helpful? So like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. Au revoir!